everybody. Welcome back to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin. Super excited to introduce you all to Brana. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been such a long time coming, this
Yeah.
conversation. It's going to be good. So
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about yourself, like what you do and how you got into business.
sure. My name is Brana. I am currently a realtor at CG Realty. We are based out of Aston, but we have offices all over now. We've really expanded. I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, so I'm definitely new to the business. I started towards the end of 2024 and 2025 I really like picked it up and I was really happy with myself and what I did. But prior to that, I worked in healthcare for a number of years and then had my son in 2019 and COVID hit right after. And I kind of stepped back from my career to be a stay-at-home mom and focus on the kids. And during that time, I was able to take my real estate classes and get my license, which I had been wanting to do for a while, but balancing all of the things, it didn't happen when I was working full time. So this kind of was like the perfect opportunity. And it all fell into place. So it's been great.
I've been following you on social and you've had some amazing sales recently. Like a year and a half in, at least my experience with some realtors is it's hard to find your footing, but it seems like maybe the years leading up in preparation for this, like were you already planting seeds with people? Did you
Um,
network?
yeah, not so much. I do work like with Zillow, so I get connected with a lot of people on there, and I have had a lot of luck with that. Just I try to find personal ways I can connect with people and make them feel comfortable. And that has gotten me a lot of business. I obviously have worked with family and friends, and that has been super helpful too. Obviously, to have your family or friends trust you when you're first starting out is like a huge compliment. And yeah, and I mean, a year and a half in, I'm already, now I'm starting to get calls from some of my like very first transactions that are now like, oh, my family wants to buy or my friend wants to buy. So you really see it come for full circle. And when I started, Rob and Drew, who run CG, and Tony, who's our broker, they all told us like, focus on your sphere and like every transaction will bring you, three or four more. And now I'm starting only a year and a half in, but I'm starting to see that, people coming from my first couple a year and a half ago to now. So it's interesting to watch it all come together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great advice too. And obviously they've been in the industry, so they are able to like see the trends and how it kind of spills over to
Yeah.
and support you. I remember when I came in to do my speech for you guys to like talk on social media. I love the community that you have
Yes.
at your office. It's
Yeah.
really nice and refreshing because I do feel like real estate can sometimes get super competitive.
Yeah. I don't feel that in our office at all.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to like some of the girls that I've become close with and they tell me what they're doing in their business, I'm like super excited for them. And like it makes me happy that they're doing so well. And when I started, Joanne, who works at CG, like out of the goodness of our heart, like out of her heart, I'm sorry, she like FaceTimed me at the shore. I had to write an offer and I had never done it. And I was on vacation and she spent like an hour FaceTiming me with me, walking me through how to write the offer. And she came to my house when I had my first listing and helped me learn how to write up the contract. And like she didn't have to do that. She just met me and we were at the time, strangers, but we've since developed a friendship and I've become really close with a lot of girls in the office, which is nice because being home with my kids, you start to feel like, you're just isolated from a lot of people. And it's nice to have women that you can connect with, not only in like a friendship way, but also through business. So that's been a really nice part of it too.
Yeah, that's so refreshing. Like a lot of the times we talk on this show with solo entrepreneurs that are very isolated, like that's how my business was for a very long time. And
Yeah.
honestly, now it still is. So anytime I have like the opportunity to get into community, it's
Yeah.
very refreshing and like much needed because I feel like I get socially weird if I'm like
Yeah.
isolated for too long, you
Yes,
know?
yes. Well, that's why I try to go to these, workout classes that we were talking about and, just get out of the house, even if it's for an hour and do stuff. And I've even like some of the girls from the office will come with me, I say, come, let's go try. We go to hot yoga or solid core or whatever. And that's a way where we can connect, not just in, the office or just talking about real estate as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like it's important to have conversations outside of that aren't just work because work can really feel just daunting at times.
Yeah.
Like, especially earlier on in business, but also like being in it for 8 years now, it's like the last thing that I really want to talk
Mhm.
about.
Yeah, yeah. And I have found like after my last closing, one of my girlfriends from the office and I met for dinner and media. She had a closing the same day. So we said, like, let's go out and celebrate. And I just started like telling her more about my life. And she told me a lot about her life. And it was just like we were both like blown away by each other's personal stories outside of work and all of that. So it's nice to connect with people. And I try to do that in my business as well. Just be like authentic. This is who I am. These are the experiences I've had. And, so you can usually find some way to connect with your clients, even if they're complete strangers to you. So
Yeah.
it's nice. Yeah.
It's such a good point. I find that so many people in our world, like for the listeners, we live very close to each other. So we go to the same solid core, like
Yeah.
we're close in proximity.
Yeah.
So the people here aren't always like I would say we're the East Coasters. So like we're salesy in like a good way, but some
Yeah.
people can be a little bit more pushy, right? Because like
Yeah.
that's the part of the world that we live in. So when you find people that are authentic, it really feels like a diamond, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was afraid to even I was not afraid, but definitely nervous when I started to get into this because I'm not pushy. That's not even like a word anyone would use to describe me. And I'm not salesy. So it was like, okay, Brana, how are you gonna do this and not, I don't want to come off fake. And I just realized, I had talked to Rob a lot when I started, and he was like, you just be yourself. Like, you're genuine and you just be yourself. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, I'm not going to change who I am just to put money in my pocket because I wouldn't feel good about myself. And I never push clients to, just buy any house because I don't want that to ever come back on me. I want to be as happy for them. I want them to be as happy as I am, So I think that is really important when you're running this kind of business and it's really your own business. You're an independent contractor and you're selling yourself essentially. So that's been just staying true to who I am has been beneficial. It's actually worked out.
It's
So
working, right? Like it's
yeah,
working more than I feel like a lot of other people that are in, right? Like just building their books too. I
yeah,
think even in my experience of starting my business, like I totally took on a different personality. And I look back on the videos and I'm like, who even is that person? Like
right.
total ick over myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was also so young. Like I was 22 when I
Oh,
started my company. So
yeah,
I didn't really know who I was either.
sure.
And I do find like starting a business does curate this new identity, but almost like a level up to your authenticity. It's like another opportunity to learn more about yourself in a
Yeah.
professional way. I'd love to know your opinion on that. And if you felt like you changed at all, when you took on this.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at like when I worked in healthcare and I worked in it's called concierge medicine. So I basically had to be a little bit salesy, patients were paying to see these elite doctors. And um, I just felt one of the reasons it was so easy for me to step away is I felt very held back. Like there was no, I couldn't keep going. Like they wouldn't let me grow in ways that I knew I was capable of. And it was almost like I was stuck and I felt stuck and it reflected in my personality. And this kind of gave me the freedom to be like, okay, no one can hold you back. You can make this business whatever you want it to be. But showing up on social media, like that hasn't been easy for me. I tend to be on the shy side. So it's like putting myself out there and thinking like, oh God, what are people thinking or what are they saying? I've really just like turned this page in my life where I just realized like, who cares? You know, this is who I am. And like the people that know me and know that who I am and everything I've been through and just that, I'm not, this is just my way of connecting with people. And it doesn't have to be about real estate. I love connecting with people about all sorts of things. So I think yes, this has definitely changed me and given me this confidence to like no one can hold you back now. You can be whoever, you can make this business whatever you want it to be. And that's been really liberating for me. And it feels good. It definitely has given me a lot more confidence than I had when I stepped away from my last job. That's for sure. So
I feel like there's such an identity crisis when we're pivoting. Like, even in my business, still going to have my agency, but I'm really moving more into like coaching or like launching a
okay.
mastermind, and
Yeah.
helping community because I just feel like I lack that. So I need to make one, that
Yeah.
feels like I could bring people together. And I've gone through that where I'm like, what's going on? Like, this is so weird. I'm like, not turning business away, but I'm definitely not taking certain offers for the agency that feel misaligned because I just don't have the energy, to like do both things.
Yeah. And that we were talking about that at the Christmas party, me and a couple of the other agents, just like you don't have to say yes to every business, like every client that comes your way. You might just not feel aligned with them or feel like they're the right person for you to work with, or they don't respect your opinion or and I have already come across that, people that thought I was newer and they could clients that just said, well, no, this is what we're going to do. And weren't trusting me. And that's really what I'm here for is you need to trust my opinion. Like you need to trust my experience and my opinion and that I'm not going to steer you wrong. And so that was interesting to learn too, just that it's okay to not to say no. You don't have to just because you're in sales and just because you're trying, you're new and you're trying to build a business doesn't mean you have to say yes to everybody and everything. You have to align yourself, like you said, with the things that feel right for your business. So
Like
that's been interesting.
Yeah, I really, really love this topic because in my company, like I've had flashy people, right, that I've worked
Yeah.
with. And I'm like, wow, I should love doing this, like
Right.
to be so excited. And like, in fact, I'm like, oh God, like here
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
calling me again, right? Like, and I'm sure with real estate, it's like, oh gosh, like now we have to go out to see another house that they're gonna hate. And I know
Yeah.
they're gonna hate it, and
Yeah.
like what a waste of time. And there's a lack of reciprocity when the trust
Yes.
is missing. And I've
Yeah.
seen that so many times with clients. Sometimes I think like, no, they'll trust me. Then we're 6 months in and you start to see
Yes.
little glimmers, right? And it's like, I don't know if we're going to make the end of this contract together.
Yeah.
And that's probably for the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just went through that with the client and it took me like almost a year to find them a house. And like even at the end, I was like, oh my God, this is all gonna fall apart. And it didn't,
Good.
but I just felt like, why won't you? I've been doing this with you for a year, like, why won't you trust me? But I don't know. It's just, and we crossed that bridge and it's over and it's behind me, but it was one of the biggest learning experiences for me. Like looking back, was just thinking, is this just should I have done that? should I have taken all of that time and um really like roller coaster, but it was a learning experience and it was great for me. So you have to, learn from everything. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And I find now, like when I come into client contacts that have that type of relationship, and I may really admire these people, like they're great people. I find a lot of their beliefs about themselves or the company, like especially because I work B2B, will
Yeah.
be projected onto the client relationship. And it has like nothing to do with the actual outcome, of us
Right.
working together. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you see that a lot because this is somebody's biggest purchase that
Sure.
they ever have in their life. And they're probably like, should I even do this? Like when I bought my house, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this
Yeah.
is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
but it does.
I always try to give examples like of my own personal experience about of buying a house because we bought our house about 8 years ago and you know we didn't it was both of our first time and so I always try to like throw in personal things that are truth because I feel like that's the best way to have an honest relationship and let them know like I'm a person just like you, my basement flooded for the first 5 years I lived here. I mean, like, just give real examples of things that happen. And I'm not trying to be fake and say you're going to buy this house and everything's going to be perfect and nothing's going to go wrong because that's just not real. And this isn't, selling sunset. This is, this is real life. And, I think that really helps people see me as like a real person, not just someone that's trying to force them to buy a house or sell a house so that I can make money.
Yeah,
So
almost
that's,
like you're like their partner in buying the house
yeah.
rather than like a salesperson. And I think that this is going to be a whole new identity and like mindset shift for people that haven't, sold this way or like worked with clients in this way. That's the
Yeah.
way I see myself as a coach. It's like, I'm not telling them what to do because that could backfire very horribly,
Yeah.
instead of
No.
like, do you like for example with real estate, it's like, do you want a washer
Yeah.
and dryer on the second floor? Like what's most important?
Important.
Then we can find that. That's what I try to do with marketing too, or even with my business coaching. I'm like, what do you want out of this? Do you even really want a business? And some people
Right.
are like, no, I just want a career.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, you have to ask the questions and really narrow down what is important to them. And sometimes I say, you're not going to find every single thing. In very rare incidences, do you find every single thing on your list? So, like, let's narrow it down and have an honest conversation about what's most important. And that often helps. But like I said, using my own personal experiences in life, not just with real estate, has helped me and just made people see me as just like a human, like, and they stay in touch with me and they check on me and vice versa. And that's nice because I do care, what happens to them. They're not just another transaction to me. So that's been very helpful in my business, I find. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a completely different service too that you're providing. Like you're providing a lifelong service, when they
Yeah.
have their third house or if they want to become investors, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll be the first person that they call. And I think that that's where a lot of business owners at times trip up. Like they don't see the relationship as evergreen or ever growing. Even if clients leave, like my fiance is in sales, we talk about this all the time.
Hmm.
When people don't buy, it can feel like, oh, they went with a competitor or,
Right.
they bought this thing and it's like such a blow to the ego. Then you
Yeah.
have to remind yourself in 6 months, they could come back and totally have hated, the experience with another
Yeah.
competitor or like another system that they
Yeah.
purchased.
Yeah. Like my mom had a friend when I was like very first started and she was selling her, big house on the main line. And I'm like, I gotta get this business. But, she had a neighbor who she had a relationship who she bought the house from and she knew for 30 years and it wasn't happening. And I was, we had a nice conversation and she did ask me for some advice but I understood like it is. not everybody can work with you and or wants to, and that's okay. It's not a personal thing. She's known me my whole life. She loves me, but it is just is what it is, and you can't take things personally. I mean, there are definitely instances where you can, and they are personal, but 9 times out of 10, it's not. So you just have to find another relationship to build on, and that's okay. To me, it's more about the genuine relationships than even the sale, because the relationship is what's going to keep my business growing years from now, not just, closing that deal for that month. So, that's what's keeping me hopeful that my business will continue to grow over time.
Yeah, it's more sustainable, right? Like it's like the people that are money hungry or want to just get the quick win, like especially in marketing too. That's not how this works.
Yeah,
It's like such a long game. I feel like real estate building that is also a longer game.
it is definitely a long game. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they told me when I started, like, most realtors close one deal in their first year. And in the last year and a half, did 9. So I was happy with that, that I was able to keep that momentum, and going into 2026, I hope to keep it going. That's my goal. And yeah, so I feel very lucky and blessed that people trust me and let me keep helping them, because it's actually an honor to have people that trust you with this huge decision. So yeah,
Yay. And like, congratulations. That's awesome.
thanks.
You
Yeah.
know, you 9 times it over everybody else. Like, I love that. It's so good. And it's also like so encouraging because you know what you're doing is working, the authenticity, like you're just being yourself. It's perfect. I always
Yeah.
say that on the show. I'm like, what if we could all just be ourselves and we get paid? Like, wouldn't
Yeah.
it be a wonderful world?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what we need to start doing because why are
Yeah.
we trying to do something different?
No, completely. It's yeah, you feel, and even like on social media, you feel like, oh, I should try what this person's doing or that person's doing. And I'm like, you know what? No, I just have to be me, and the right people will connect with me. And yeah, we'll just keep the business going, hopefully.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, like our clients have similar interests to us too. Like
Yeah.
that's what you were saying. Sometimes you vibe with them over like on Zillow. It's like, oh, they live in this area, or like they must go to this restaurant because
Right.
they know this area, right? Like it's a little bit easier, I think, sometimes with real estate. Like with our clients, sometimes they're so far across the world. So you have to kind of figure out like,
Oh, right.
they
Yeah.
like a podcast,
Yeah.
like do they follow so and so? Like maybe we could vibe
How
over
can
that.
we connect? Yeah.
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 But that's such a gift too, because so many people don't take the time to do that. Like you're really going the extra mile, when you're putting
Yeah.
in research time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you- people, you know people like at surface level, but you don't know everything that they've been through. And I've, been through so much in my life, and I just feel like when I tell people like my story and things that have happened to me, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And I'm just like, "Yeah, well, there's a lot more to people." So that's why I always try to share a little about myself, and maybe that we'll be able to connect in some way. But just to have those honest conversations, I think is nice. And that's why I'm very open with anything that people want to talk about, because I don't those touch points are what makes people trust you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to know more about your story if you're willing to share with us.
Oh yeah. So I think we had talked prior, but my dad and my brother both have passed away from cancer. So my dad died when I was 25, so 20 years ago. Now I'm showing my age. And my brother actually passed away in 2019 when I was pregnant with my son. He was 36, and so after he passed, I started Michael's Legacy Project, which I do he worked for CHOP. He was a social worker at CHOP. And I do a toy drive every fall. In September was when he passed. So I started in September. This year I just kept getting donations. So like we didn't even end up bringing them until almost Christmas, but I bring my boys along with me, and it's been a really good experience. Helped me heal and helped them. My son, my older son has, knew him, but my little son didn't, never got to meet him, obviously. But he talks about him like he knows him because of this experience. So that's been very healing for me. And this year was huge, like probably the biggest year we've had because of working again and connecting with all these people in the office that contributed. And it was just amazing to be able to bring all that stuff to CHOP. And I am also adopted, and in 2017, I was able to connect with my birth father and mother and my eight siblings. So, right around the time I lost my brother and I had already lost my dad, I got a dad and a mom and all these siblings who have been there for me and like supported me. And yeah, so it's been life changing in so many ways. We go on vacations with them, and we celebrate holidays together, and um, just it's been a huge support. Like to Michael, my brother that passed away, was who I grew up with. It was just the two of us. So when he passed, it was just me and my mom left, and to have all of these people in my life that love and care about me and support me has been life changing. And like it was like everything fell into place at that time. So at the right time. So yeah, so it's great. Like we do tons of stuff together, and we were at my mom's for Christmas Day. We go there every year, and we were at the Flyers game on Saturday with my dad and his wife. And yeah, the kids have a great, you know brilliant, we see them all the time. I helped my sister buy a house, her and her husband buy a house this year. So yeah, I have two moms, a dad, and eight siblings. And yeah, so it's been lots of changes over the years, obviously. But I just from loss came all of these amazing things too. So I know lost your dad and how hard that is, and like that's just not something I feel like you ever get over. Even like 20, like it hit 20 years this summer, and I was in Maine with my mom, and I'm like, it feels like it happened yesterday. Like it feels so long, but still so recent at the same time. So yeah, so that's pretty much the all the major things in my life. But it makes me I'm very empathetic to people and the things that they go through. And obviously cancer and doing things for CHOP, and giving back to families that I know personally how hard it is something very important to me. So I had a client right that we were supposed to close, and that day his dad like had a heart attack or and had to go in the hospital. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, I understand. And I shared my story with him, and I said, look, family has to come first. Like, we'll figure this out. And he was very thankful that I shared that with him. And we were able to connect more on a personal level. There was no reason for me to bring that up prior to that, but I felt like in the moment, I wanted him to know, like, we're all human. We all have big things that happen that nobody knows about, and it's okay to be upset. And this is not what's important right at this moment. We'll figure it out. And we did, and everything worked out. But just things like, that are really big that um I try to be open about, that help can help other people, just even if they just want to talk. And So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Your
Y-
story is
Yeah.
so cool and like I'm so inspired every time I talk to you. Cause my dad, as you know, like he also had cancer. And then I started working for a local nonprofit.
Yeah.
And that was all really because of him, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like I have to do something for this community. And I
Yeah.
know what you do down there. It's amazing work and it means so much to the
Yeah.
clients. And it's like really the light that a lot of people need. And I think if you haven't experienced, like for any of the listeners, if you've never experienced anything like this, give yourself a day to go and really
Yeah.
give back to a community that needs it because it's life changing. And it really makes you realize how much nothing else matters,
Yeah.
you know?
I always say, like, anything happens at home or with my husband, like, are one of us dying?
I know.
Do one of us have cancer? Because if it's anything other than those two things, we'll figure it
Yes.
out. I can figure anything else out besides those two things. And, that kind of brings us all back to, you know, zero, and whatever the problem is, we'll figure it out. And that's kind of how I run my whole life is there's nothing bigger than the loss that I have experienced. And if it's not that, then I can figure it out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like everything else seems so small, you know,
Yeah.
especially like now that you're even saying it's been so long. I feel like I do see that, especially when it's like in the moment and you have to kind of kick in whatever is going on. Chaos is wreaking
Yeah.
havoc, you know, on the family. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm here. Like, I know what to do in these situations. It's not worst case scenario. I will take the 10%, you know, of
Yeah.
like it's like
Right.
easier to focus on that.
100%. That's what I'm always like. If one of us is not dying, we'll get through it. We will figure it out, I promise. So that has been, my mom and I talk almost every day, and she says the same thing, like, Brana, if, one of us isn't dying, then we'll figure it out. And
Like
it's
all
true.
good. Yeah, my mom and I are the same way. We're like, we've already lived through so much. Like,
Yeah.
what else could come? And whatever else is coming, like, we'll handle it. It is
Yeah.
very much so more grounded place of living. And I think that that's what allows us to be so much more authentic in our day to day because it's like all the BS just like doesn't matter, you know?
No, totally. That's how I feel. I really don't have time for like a lot of nonsense things that other people get upset about. I'm just like, I would take that over anything I've been through. And, I have friends that complain about nonsense, and I'm just like, that just is not. And I say it all the time. Like, sometimes I say to like, my friends will complain, oh, we're old, we're old. I'm like, my brother passed when he was 36. Like, he would give anything to be here. So let's just enjoy the moments, and not put all this pressure on ourselves that we have to be young and
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's definitely it's molded my complete mindset in my life. And now now that I'm doing this new career, I see how it has pulled into my mindset even in that. So it's
Yeah.
just interesting. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like your whole lens, right? Like
Yeah.
almost I feel like that same way. Like a lot of my friends are always like worried about their like weight or their looks and like
Yeah.
I've never cared. Like I'm the girl that like rolls out
Oh,
of bed in sweatpants like and goes to the grocery store like zero questions asked.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I'm lucky if I brush my teeth, you know? Like I just don't care. Like I've
Yeah.
always been like that. And I think that it does stem from just feeling the privilege to like be alive almost
Yeah.
when you're surrounded by death at such an early stage of life like and that can be any time for me
Yeah.
it was 15 I have clients that it was 8 you know and
Yeah.
talk about this all the time and they're all like no one cares like it's just such a gift to even get older like
Yeah.
when you experience death, it feels like every day is just such a gift. And why would I be so worried about like the way I look out of all
Yeah.
things, you know?
I mean, obviously all girls go through like but I feel like at this point in my life, this is the least I am here.
Right.
But it's just so interesting because when my dad passed away, he was 55, and at the time I thought he was so old. I was like, oh well, I mean, obviously I was devastated, but
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, oh God, like, and now my husband's 53, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like he's so young, has so much life ahead of him, and I just can't now. I can't wrap my head around that how actually young he was. So
Yeah.
when you're a kid, I mean, I was 25, but I was, for all purposes, I was really a kid. I still lived at home and I was just out of college and I was working for my dad in his business. And so I just thought, oh, well, he's old, but no, no, no. Now I'm 45 and my husband's 53 and I'm like, okay, we are not old. We have so much life left to live. And if God forbid something happened to me now and my kids are so little, I would feel so sad for them. But it's just how life comes into perspective at different points and how even though you have this loss so many years ago, it still helps you see things differently all as you grow. So it's
Oh,
just, yeah,
yeah, my dad was 50 as well when
yeah.
he passed, and he had cancer, but he like died suddenly of a
Oh,
heart attack,
oh,
actually on the golf course in the
oh,
town that I live in now, which is
oh,
like
God.
weird.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
So it was like public and it was very intense. And
Yes,
he
still
like,
sudden. Yeah.
yeah, he like died on the spot. So they weren't able to resuscitate him or anything. It was horrible. And
Oh,
I'll never forget like thinking he was old. And now that I'm, like I'm
yeah.
about to be 30 next year, I'm like, he was so young.
So
Like
young. Yeah.
that's crazy. And my
Yeah.
mom was actually also just in the hospital. And one thing they kept saying was like, she's so young. And I was
Oh,
like, she is so young. Like this is
yeah.
so nice, like
Yeah.
that people are saying that. Because when you're a kid, you just feel like everybody's so much older.
Older. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
far away, oh,
Yes.
I'll never make it
I'm
to that
never.
age. Yeah.
Yes. No, but it's true. It's this like 20-year hit and realizing, how close I am to that age now is just mind blowing. It's crazy, but I just appreciate, and I keep telling myself like in 5 more years, I'll have spent as much time without him as I did with him, which is crazy too. And I just still remember all the things he taught me. And, I had gone into he was a financial planner. So like I worked with him right out of college. That was what career I thought I was gonna be doing. And once he passed, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't continue in this business and in it was too hard for me. So that pivoted my life too in so many different ways. So it's just, all your experiences mold you, and just watching how they're molding me now has been in this new business and this new career has been very interesting for me and a lot of self-reflection. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a gift. And it's
yeah.
almost like he gave you that outlook of like starting his own company and like taking you under his wing. And I'm sure you hear his voice at times, like when you're
Oh
in
God.
his company. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's like always talking to me. He's like, don't do that. Or
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Like what they would say, how they
Yes.
would sound when they
Yeah.
say it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my brother, when he was, we knew my brother actually had brain cancer when he was a kid and survived. And then this cancer he got as an adult was from the radiation that saved him as a kid. So it like all came full circle. But when he was dying, we talked a lot, obviously. And he was just like, I want you to stay home and be with your kids and, promise me like that you will do this, that you will stay home and just enjoy the time with your kid. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. And then like 3 months after I had Anthony, COVID hit and there was no choice. I had to be home with my kids. So it was kind of like, okay, Michael, I'm doing what you asked me to do. And it was the best thing I could have ever done. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's just all interesting how all these experiences mold you and um just all I have so much love and support in my life
Yeah.
that I appreciate so much. So that's also been life changing for me too.
So beautiful. I love
Yeah.
your outlook.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel like
Yeah.
I resonate with you so much because so
Yeah.
much darkness, right, can come in our lives, but it's really
Yeah.
like the way that we look at it and how
Yeah.
we use those lessons.
For
And I
sure.
find like so many of my clients have the same thoughts that we talked about. It's like, what would they say? How would they say it? And
Yeah.
all the areas, it's like as we get older and just thinking differently about certain situations. And
Yeah.
it's so refreshing. So thank you so much for being so open and sharing
Yeah.
with us. How can we all stay connected with you and
Yeah.
hopefully reach out and get in touch too?
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Brana Brings You Home. Or you can look me up, Brana Petrongola at CG Realty and connect with me there too.
Yay.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Do you have
Thank
anything
you.
else that you want to share with us before we
No.
go? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great talking to you. Thank you so much.
So, so great. Thank you.